So for those of you who have been following along on my Instagram story, it's David_Seymour1 if you don't follow me already, you know what's going on. For those of you who do not, it is 7 a.m. on Friday morning, which I'm going to post this video. I have not gone to bed yet. It is fully bright outside, and hopefully within the next few weeks you guys will see why I have been on such an insane sleep schedule. But what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Buzzfeed test. Now, I told you last week I am making the very expensive steak Japanese Katsu sandwich for no other reason than the fact that I want to make it, and also the fact that it came in second on last week's poll. I have wanted to try not only making this, but obviously eating this for forever. But the main obstacle is getting the actual beef for this. And when I tell you I spent the entire day searching different kinds of specialty grocery stores and butcher shops, and when I tell you I cannot find any kind of meat in a similar cut as what is needed here, I'm not lying. After I wasted about 3 hours driving around to all my local shops, I called basically everywhere within 3 hours drive of my house. And like, nobody has a Japanese Wagyu beef or a Chateaubriand cut of beef. It's just impossible, apparently. The only way I think this is gonna happen is if I just give in and order it online. I ended up spending $75 on this one steak and had to wait about 5 days for it to arrive. Regardless, I am ecstatic to give this sandwich a try after all these months, so let's get right into it. Now, you may be thinking, I'm just gonna slap together a steak sandwich with some fried meat, some bread, and some sauce. Oh, no, 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 no. Before we can even start to cook the meat, I have to make a homemade Katsu sauce and a homemade Japanese milk bread, so pray for me, please. Now for the milk bread, I grabbed some bread flour and kosher salt, some yeast, sugar, and butter, and ironically enough, we're actually going to be following a Bon Appetit recipe for this milk bread. And even though, as I showed you, we're only using a very select amount of ingredients here, this is a very involved process. I'm halving this recipe because I only need one loaf, but even still, it involves 2 different rises, a bunch of different kneading techniques. It's very involved. If you want to see the actual recipe I followed, it's going to be in the description tab underneath this video. Although this took a ton of work, this came out looking and smelling amazing. It almost smells like a pretzel bread for some reason. I love the browning and the way this looks, so I'm gonna let it cool while I work on the Katsu sauce. For that, you're gonna wanna grab some mirin and ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce and brown sugar, soy sauce, fresh ginger, and fresh garlic. I know this may seem a little redundant, a little bit not necessary, but I just want to stress how important fresh garlic and fresh ginger are for this sauce. Whether you mince the 2 ingredients, whether you put it through a garlic press and like a cheese grater like I did, it's very important that you use these fresh aromatics because it pretty much makes the whole sauce. It is primarily ketchup at the base, but once you combine all this stuff together, this like very special marriage happens, and I just love Japanese food. Have I said that before? Probably. If not, I'd like to say it again. And now we have to work on the scariest part of this entire thing, the steaks. To prepare them, I grabbed some salt and panko breadcrumbs, some cheap steaks, and then some flour and eggs. Now the reason I'm doing this first, just like Nikki and Rie did in the video, is just to test out some different oil temperatures, some different cook times. I'm gonna hopefully get everything down pat before I throw in my very expensive steak where we only have one shot. And once I had this piece of meat fully coated, fully chilled, and into and out of my oil, I think this might be a bit overdone. We are gonna give it a quick try though, so let's see how this tastes. So the outside on this looks and feels great. It's like super crispy, nice golden brown. I'm just worried about the inside. It's good. It's still a little bit tough, obviously because it's a cheaper cut of beef. The outside is a nice crisp. It's a decent flavor. As I said, I think it's a bit overcooked based on what we're trying to go for here, so that's good knowledge to have. Now, being that the cheap stuff was a lot thinner, I think the same temperature and time is gonna be perfect for our real stuff. I do have to chop this in half though, so steak purists out there, please close your eyes. I just think this is gonna fit on our square sandwich a lot better, so hopefully it'll make our lives easier. I coated it the same way as the cheap stuff. I fried it for the same time at the same temperature oil, and I like rare to medium rare steaks as much as the next guy, but this is a little bit too raw for me. In fact, I think this might still be mooing as we speak, so I think I'm gonna try to skewer these back together and fry them for a few more minutes. Listen, I don't know how else I was gonna salvage these steaks. It might dry it out, it might make it cook all weird. Either way, I'm just gonna give it a shot. About 3 minutes later, Listen, if I was preparing this in a restaurant, or for anybody else except me, I would trim down the edges, make it look a little bit nicer, but it's for me. Why would I waste some nice edges of steak just to get it into like a perfect square? Who cares? You guys are gonna be pissed at me. Not only is this $73 steak grossly overpriced and not worth the tenderness that you're supposed to get from it, the best part of this sandwich is the Katsu sauce. That perfect marriage of like acidity from ketchup and soy and garlic and ginger is just one of my favorite flavors, and it just like overshadows the meat, even though it was a $75 steak. As with anything, I could have disgustingly cooked this wrong, obviously. But visually it looked very similar to what theirs looked like in the video. I don't know. In my very humble opinion, if you're gonna spend that much on a steak, why deep fry it? Just like grill it or put it on a nice flat top and get a nice char. I feel like a sandwich is just kind of like a disrespect to what a good high quality steak it could be. I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, slap a like on this one. Let's see what time it is now. It is currently 7:13 a.m. so it's just getting earlier in the morning. I have another video set for you guys on Monday, which should be really good. I'm in the process of working on it as we speak. If you do not follow me on Twitter and Instagram already, the links will be in the description. Other than that, have an awesome weekend. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision. We could make it out to
Oh boy. Well, that's not gonna work. Come look at this. Shit. What do I do now?